Hello again and welcome if you are new. In today's video, I wanted to point out the realities of taking time off as a homemaker, both for personal days and for sick days. Here is what the house is looking like, but I did not tackle all of this on this day. My husband had actually already volunteered to help me clean this up, so I was just gonna wait for him to finish cleaning this up, and we were also able to get the yard cleaned up, which was great. But for today, I had made the decision that I was going to focus on an area in my daughter's room that has been causing problems for a while. So while she was having her weekly conference meeting, I was gonna get started. Here is the suspect in question. But first, I needed to wash a load of laundry that has been sitting in the washer for a little too long because it just didn't smell the best. So I just went ahead and took that out of the dryer, put it back in the washer to wash it one more time. Jumping right in, as you can see, her room has just devolved into chaos yet again. So something I wanted to address in this room is that, as you can see here on the left, all of her books I've been stacking just in a cardboard box because I've been wanting to get a bookshelf for them for a really long time, but I just didn't get around to it, and or I just didn't want to spend the money. But at this time, when I was telling my husband about these issues, he had told me to go ahead and purchase the bookshelf and just set it up because he already knew that that was going to bring me a lot of peace. So I got a new bookshelf to set up here in her room for her books. I had originally thought that she had a lot of books because in this box, as they're stacked, it seems like a lot, but as I put them up on the bookshelf, I realized that she really doesn't have that many, and the ones that she does have are kind of I don't know, I feel like they're a little bit too young for her. So that was a really cool thing to see, and I'll go over kind of how I set that up later and what kind of my goals are. So I started out by cleaning the room. I sorted through her toys, and this took me a little while, especially since she kept taking things back out as I was putting them away. But we got it all cleaned up and cleared out, so then I was able to start to install the bookshelf and just build the bookshelf. The problem was my phone had died when I was recording this, so I don't have a full clip of the installation. I ended up just putting it together and then drilling some holes in the wall to put the anchors in, and then just screwed the bookshelf into the wall. And you'll see that what that ended up looking like, because it's an interesting bookshelf. But yeah, I didn't get to record the full build and installation, so you're just gonna see me clean, you're gonna see me partially build it, and then I'll show you what it ended up looking like. In my last video of me cleaning her room, a lot of people recommended that I do a toy rotation, and honestly, I don't really understand the concept of a toy rotation very well. I try to limit, I guess, the amount of things in a space depending on kind of the designated amount of space I give it. So, for example, all of her toys are in this cube unit here next to her bed, and besides the larger toys. And so I try not to keep more toys than what fits inside of this cube unit. So I don't know, I guess I just don't really understand the concept very well. like, I get the idea of a toy rotation is just to kind of give something new to look at every so often. But I don't know. I don't know. I guess if somebody would like to elaborate and tell me a little bit more about it, maybe that's something I would consider. Because yeah, it's definitely, something I would consider. I just don't really understand it very well. However, something I did do that you're not going to see in this clip is that I got some labels for the cube, to put the labels on there. They're like clip-on labels, and I'm going to print out both the word and the picture of what belongs in that area on the label, because I feel like that's going to help both my daughter and my husband whenever he kind of comes in to see what I kind of set up, because I understand how it's supposed to go, but I also understand that they don't understand the way that I set it up. So I want to make sure that I set up the labels so that there's no confusion, because my daughter, she does enjoy cleaning up after herself a lot of the time. Often I feel like she just doesn't really know where to put things, and she just gets overwhelmed and kind of gives up. So that's one thing I did do, is I did get some labels so that I can start labeling kind of how I have this set up, because that'll also help me limit how much I put in a space, which I really enjoy, kind of having those limits on how much I can fit in a space so that I don't have to worry about having too much or too little. I give a certain amount of space to things, and if things don't fit within that space, then I just have to get rid of some things. And if there's not that much, then I can see it, and I give myself, I guess, the option to buy some more. I'm not sure if I'm making any sense. I guess an example would be that if I had a shelf on a bookshelf dedicated to, say, the books I want to keep, then I'll give myself that whole space to have as many books as I want there. But as soon as that space is full, then I have to make the decision that I need to get rid of something. And that's kind of the way my brain works, I guess, is I'll give myself space to enjoy the things that I enjoy, but I also want to give myself a limitation so that I don't go overboard. And so that's just the way that I usually do things, and yeah, I hope that makes sense. But this bookshelf is actually really interesting to me because it doesn't have sides, like walls on it. It looks like this, so it's just like poles that attach to the wall, and then it attaches at the bottom in one area, but it has legs on it. And I got this one because I felt like it was going to kind of limit the visual clutter and make it feel a little bit more open still. Even though there's a bookshelf in here, it's not like bulky or it's not too big, so it's not going to take up that much space. And I liked that it kind of had this built-in attachment to the wall, because that made me feel like it was going to be a little bit more safe being here in the room, so that it doesn't tip over or anything like that. So that's why I decided to go for this one. I thought that it would be a little bit more cleaner in the room visually, and I also enjoyed that it was already pre-made to attach to the wall, so that I didn't have to think about anchoring it in any way. And I think it just looks good with the rest of the room. I had a little bit of struggles getting this other, the first ones were hard to attach, but once I got this first one on and I got the bottom one on, it became a lot easier to attach the rest. Unfortunately, this is when my phone had died, so this is all that I was able to record. So I'm just gonna go ahead and show you what it looks like and kind of how I set it up. Here's what it ended up looking like. I cannot be more happy with how it ended up. I had some leftover cubes from the cube unit that has her clothes in it in the closet, so I went ahead and I used those at the top here, and inside of these I put things that I wanted her not to be grabbing for. It's just some extra learning materials, glue, scissors, extra writing utensils, and then in the other one is all of the paint stuff. It's all the paint aprons, the just everything that she uses to paint with. And so I put these up in these cubes so that she couldn't really see them or reach them, because these are the things that I want her to ask for help with. I don't want her to just be able to grab for, and I want to be able to give them to her when she asks, not for her to just make a mess out of. I do use this egg carton for her to paint on. I usually put her paint projects on top of it so she doesn't get paint all over the table. And I just found that to be kind of the easiest method for me. She has a great time with that. On the next shelf is more learning things that I want her to ask for help with, that I want to do with her, then learning things that she can do on her own. Also some coloring books, and then her books to read. And then on the bottom shelf I want to do puzzles. She has a couple, but I would like to get her a couple more because she really enjoys doing puzzles. And yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'd consider subscribing and liking. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!